Well, especially this time around, the weather has been absolutely fantastic for us. It is absolutely the highlight to start the year for Pro MX, to get down here to Wonthaggi and this region of Victoria.
Kyle Webster has had a dream run for 2 years straight, back-to-back. MX1 champion and also MX of Nations champion. Let's take a look at the Kawasaki MX1 lineup. Kyle Webster, he was fastest in Super Pole. Jed Beaton, Aaron Tanti, Wilson Todd, Liam Jackson. Very impressive.
Liam Jackson jumped up in that Super Pole with a very impressive time. Zachary Watson, Ferris, Waters, Zielinski. We're waiting for Crawford to come into his own here this weekend. Keep an eye on the number 3, Brad West, Agnenis, Olander, Regan Duffy. Good to see him back here as well.
And yes, you are seeing correct. The return of Dean Ferris for the second time from retirement. He just can't get enough of this sport of motocross, and he is back once again riding for the Penrite Empire Kawasaki team.
Now, you said Kyle Webster had a dream run last year. Well, let's remember last year at Wonthaggi and the enormous crash DNF he had in Moto number 2. He still had to work for it to get himself there, and right now he is in the same boat where he's had to work and put himself back up into this fight, and right now it looks like he is doing that. But you can't deny the strength and the speed out of Beaton, who's been so good.
Looking forward to seeing if anyone else is going to join these two. Nathan Crawford has been the next in line in the last couple of years. Is it going to be these two again fighting for the championship? Drop of the gate, Kawasaki MX1 Moto 1. Have a look at the jump out of the gate from Webster. Is it Kawasaki around the outside?
Oh, Webster's down!
Oh! Kyle Webster has gone down on the inside in a big way, and that is the 111 of Dean Ferris. Welcome back to Pro MX.
What a way to start your return. Good to see Webster didn't get cleaned up by anyone and is up and running. Where is Beaton? He's back as well. He is, I haven't seen him go through yet. Tanti was the rider that went through a moment ago, still scanning around. Beaton in 5th. He snuck through there very quickly. Straight to 4th.
So the number 14, it's both of the CDR Monster Energy Yamaha riders, Jed Beaton and Aaron Tanti next to each other. The MXGP of Australia whole shot going to an impressive Dean Ferris.
Wow, what a start. Sonny Pelicano on the number 11 was in 3rd momentarily, but now being swapped by the CDR Monster Energy Yamaha riders of Beaton and Tanti. Just behind him, we have Olander as well, dropping down the order, Riley Stevens, and looking back to see exactly where the first split comes across for Kyle Webster. He is well and truly outside the top 25. A lot of work ahead of him.
Now you would have to think, Danny, that Jed Beaton would have seen Kyle Webster on the ground. How is that passing move? Wow, on Todd Waters. He is on a mission now. Jed Beaton just needs to really show a little bit of patience, doesn't he?
Whoa, with a big mistake right there. Yes, you're absolutely rightly. He does need to have that patience. That was a close moment for him early in this race. You don't want to be doing that. There was Crawford coming over. Jackson is there as well. The number 2 of Wilson Todd, who we haven't mentioned yet, he just came across. Yeah, 14th on the opening lap. Let's see where he ends up at the tail end of this race.
And the big question, how far through the field can Kyle Webster climb his way through after that first turn crash? Already Jed Beaton putting all kinds of pressure onto the back of Dean Ferris. Now I think Ferris, as far as the nerves, as far as an arm pump point of view, he is best off to not try to fight too much with Jed Beaton.
And that's exactly what he's done. Ferris, a very wise rider, knows just to settle into this position. Watch what happens in front of him with Jed Beaton off the side of the track. That was a very wide line for Ferris as Jed Beaton takes control of Moto number 1. And from here, I would think that we are just going to say goodbye to him. He's just going to start to run away with it, I feel. In this position, he'll be very happy and comfortable to be getting a decent start and looking like Moto 1 is going to be a walk in the park for him at the moment. But like we saw in the opening lap, mistakes can happen very easy. Let's just keep a nice, clean race.
You would have to think it's a bit of a formality now for Jed Beaton. However, I personally think that Jed seems to ride the best when he's got some kind of pressure from Kyle Webster or somebody that's pushing him at the moment. He doesn't have anyone that he's concerned about whatsoever. I think personally, his biggest concern is him riding against the track. And when you start riding like that, that's when you can sometimes bring on a little bit of a mistake. He does not want to start the day out like that.
Oh, out wide was Todd Waters, almost off the edge of the track as he sits in behind Dean Ferris. Aaron Tanti now trying to make some passes happen early in this race. Doesn't want to get a face full of roost for the next 20 minutes or so. Wants to get this pass made as we see our race leader, a 1:48 compared to a 1:52, the next closest. 4 seconds difference over that last lap. Man, that is a huge amount. There is Duffy just coming into the picture to the outside of Nathan Crawford. As we see Webster on a charge here. Good little switch back to the inside to make that pass.
That Cooper Holroyd there,
yes.
I believe, on the number 28 machine. So clear track now. Beautiful little double step up Kyle Webster just used there from a couple of the braking bumps, launching off that double there, which, trust me, you will barely see anyone all afternoon jump that double before the finish line. It's so tricky, and the vision that we get from the camera work just doesn't quite show how tricky that is. We were walking the track, we had a little bit of a look, and I think, what was there, 2 or 3 people doing that? All right, so Kyle Webster trying to find just a little bit of room there all over the back of his teammate, who looks to have just slowed down a tad, trying to get to that inside, but perfect opportunity here to be able to slingshot and get on top of those rollers. Completely different lines through this corner, and pass made. What a charge we are seeing from Kyle Webster. That already moves him up into the top 5.
And coming back off that injury, we knew that he was going to come in pretty strong, but sometimes off an injury, you still question yourself just a little bit, not to know exactly how you are when you haven't raced at this level for so long.
I think the race so far, the most impressive race, Dean Ferris back in 2nd place. I think if you were to ask team manager Tyson Cherry, their engineer or head mechanic, Brad McAlpine, they would just be smiles at the moment. Dean Ferris himself, he would have wanted to be up here, but I don't know if he truly expected. Even Dean Ferris, at his best, was not really a fan of Wonthaggi, was he? So to come out and do this, he has actually stretched that gap a little ways over Tanti now. He's got himself a semi-comfortable 4.3 second gap. Yeah, and it's looking to me, for the last couple of laps, it has been plus 20 seconds. Now, that is the gap to our leader, Jed Beaton. Now, that has stayed the same. So, either way, obviously that 20-second gap is the direct result of that first turn crash. However, there we see that's the number 7 of Hickson McGuinness on board the Ducati machine. He is out in these early stages. We've still got 11.5 minutes plus a lap to go. Kawasaki MX1 Moto number 1.
Joel Cigliano, also the other rider that was just on screen a moment ago with, like you said, 11 minutes to go. Webster still circulating around that plus 20, has not changed at all. Waters was right to the back wheel of Tanti over that last lap, but it stretched back out again. It looked like maybe Waters was starting to find that groove.
Welcome back to the Penrite Pro MX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. So with 6.5 minutes still to go, plus a lap, Kyle Webster starting to take some big chunks out of Todd Waters' lead that he has over him here. Of course, Tanti in 3rd, Waters in 4th, and Kyle Webster, he is a further 9.6 seconds back. He's taken chunks out, and this last little part of the race, if there's any hope for Webster to start to earn himself some more points, he needs to start to make the most.
Braking bumps a bit better that time around, using the outside. Cuts back across.
And just like that, I think if we can see just a little bit ahead there, we see that battle. He is all over them now.
He's got to them in a very quick rate. He needs to make this pass. Oh, Tanti with a big mistake in there. Is that enough for Waters? Not quite.
Kyle Webster just manages somehow to turn out of that rut, duck up to the inside, probably found himself a nice little bit of smooth ground, and pounces on Todd Waters. Tick, one position done. If he can make this next pass, can you believe it? All the way up to a top 3 finish.
Great ride for Webster, who over the first few laps really wasn't closing down at all. It has taken him some time to ride into this race, figure out those lines and get into a groove. Right now he has done that. Sits on the back wheel of Aaron Tanti as they go through the rollers. More laps riders in the road. 40 seconds left on the clock, so they'll have 2 laps in this. Can Tanti hold on? He's been able to hold the charge off Waters for the last, well, the entire race. This is a different story.
Yeah, I think Kyle Webster is going to come at a completely different rate, and I think he also knows that quite possibly the best way to do it, he will pick the part of the track where he knows he's been making up the time, and he'll make sure he's set up and close enough and pounce. So he hasn't come this far to be able to finish here in 4th place. Still plenty of time, couple of laps to go, side to side through there.
Dancing around. You can see the knees gripping the bike as hard as they could to keep it in line. He goes past the mechanics, a little pop. He doesn't do it this time, keeps it tighter in the corner.
He's got a great line here, goes all the way around the outside, misses all of those bumps, jumps, and then far outside through here, up on the sidewall. Oh, I don't think he's been taking that line, but he's trying to find himself a little bit of smooth ground somewhere to make his move. Now, he went to the far inside last lap. Just trying everything he can, Kyle Webster. Now, this is the prime position to make a pass. If you've got somewhere up your sleeve, goes to the inside, exact same spot he made the pass. Beautiful line there. That's the sand groper in him coming out.
That's a long run to be able to execute and execute perfectly to make that pass stick. So up into 3rd place now, Kyle Webster. Final lap. What a performance. Just entered the final lap for our race leader as he goes past the mechanics area. Team CDR, Monster Energy Yamaha rider of Jed Beaton. There was question marks how he would come back. We knew he would come back strong. There was no denying that. But the mental side of it and how he would place himself into this, I think he needed to get this one out of the way to truly believe in himself. There's no doubt he would have thought he was going to be up there. He knows he's very strong, and the fitness and the speed that we've seen out of him for the entirety of this race proven that he has put in the work.
Well, every single time we've had the opportunity to have a chat to him over this weekend, he is just all business. There's no niceties. It's just, I want to get the job done. He'll do what he has to do, but it is business time, and that's what we're seeing from him here. He didn't quite get the start that he would have wanted. It looked like a Kyle Webster hole shot, but he was ready for a fight right from the get-go, wasn't he?
No doubt. He moves his way into the left-hand here, the Kawasaki left, and up over the tabletop towards the rollers for the final time in Moto number 1. The perfect way to start the 2026 season, putting another lap down on one of the riders through the final couple of turns. The Yamaha rider showing he is going to be a strong force to beat this year.
Well, it's been a complete off-season to think about what could have been in 2025. But with the drop of the gate and the checkered flag in Moto 1, it is Jed Beaton who comes out with a dominant victory here, 46 seconds plus. That is how you do it. Kyle Webster going down in the first turn. The battle that we came to see wasn't to eventuate in this first one. What are we seeing here? We'll see a pat on the back.
Yeah. I think they've been doing a lot of noise testing into that, saying get down to the podium, do what you have to do, but we want to hear that bike and make sure it's all good, which no doubt it would be perfect. But how about this ride right here? And look just behind him. Webster is putting a final charge in. I know Webster would have liked to see another 5 minutes. Ferris, however, is going to love the fact that there is a checkered flag about to greet him for his first return ride, second in Moto number 1, Kawasaki MX1. How about that?
Nice little shake of the head, acknowledgement, and a job well done. Welcome back to the national fray. Dean Ferris. A brilliant job, and congratulations to the Penrite Empire Kawasaki team.
Official Kawasaki MX1 results. Jed Beaton, your race winner, dominance in this one. Dean Ferris, Carl Webster with a massive charge back from last, all the way to third. Aaron Tanti across in fourth. Waters with a good ride. How about this? Linsky moved himself up in front of Todd Waters. Liam Jackson also there. Nathan Crawford and Zachary Watson first hit out on that KTM.
Riley Fitzpatrick in 11th place. Connor Rosenditch, who was up inside the top 10 for a while there. Olander, Holroyd, Seeger Ward, Regan Duffy back in 16th place.
Medson Pelicano, after a great start, unfortunately dropped back quite a long way. Got throughs there in 28th. Brad West we saw in the pits a little bit further back.
Issues with Hicks and McGuinness we saw earlier on. Let's head down to Trent, who's with our race winner.
Yeah, Jed Beaton, what a way to kick off 2026. That was a little bit of work early, but then once you got that lead, you dominated the back end of that, and it just looked like probably another Tuesday down here at Wonthaggi for you.
Yeah, obviously a good way to start off the year. Got off to not too bad of a start and then made my way to the front, and yeah, sort of just didn't rush it too much. It's hard to push on this track, so you just got to be patient. And once I found some lines and got in a bit of a groove, it was, yeah, pretty smooth sailing. So, yeah, it felt good. We'll go out there and try and replicate that one again.
Cool, calm and collected as always, Jed Beaton.
Well, what a fantastic race win there for Jed Beaton on board the